Alright, look. So the person that made this comment, which, I received quite a few of these comments on a previous video I did, but let me say this right now. I respect what you're saying. You are entitled to your opinion just like I am entitled to my opinion. And I fully respect that. As much as I don't like the guy, I think he's a complete joke to this country. I'm not trying to sit there and make this tragedy all about Trump versus Biden, Democrat versus Republican, Fox News versus CNN, none of that shit. And my main point really isn't to politicize this tragedy either, because like I said, I think those that try and politicize tragedies or weaponize them for the matter, honestly just need to keep their mouths shut. That's my opinion. My main point in that video wasn't to sit there and bash politicians or sit there and politicize this tragedy. What my point was is that people are sitting there saying this and that about the tragedy, sitting there talking about how that mass shooter only did it because of what he or she had to go through and all this bull crap, and then sit there and say it was justified all because it was a transgender attacking a bunch of Christians. Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm sorry, but that right there is complete bullshit. Even if it was the other way around, I still would not condone this crap, because that right there is some fucked up shit. Mind you, there were kids that were killed in this tragedy. 3 kids. 2 of them were 9 years old. 1 of them was 8 years old. The other 3 people were people in their 60s, or around that age. To the people out there that are sitting there saying things like, oh, well, you don't know what that person had to go through, she probably went through this, she probably went through that, she probably faced a lot of discrimination, blah, 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 blah. You know what? That is not my problem. I get it. There are people out there that do face that type of behavior. I don't have a problem with the LGBTQ community, nor do I have a problem with transgender people for the matter. But regardless of your race, your religion, your sexuality, your gender, whatever you are in your life, things like that are not okay. Not only that, but to the people out there that keep weaponizing this tragedy and weaponizing any other tragedy out there, let me tell you something right now. Guns have been around for a very, very, very long time, even before the United States ever became a country. But only in the past few decades have we been dealing with mass shootings. I understand that there's several children out there that should still be alive today, but aren't because of these mass shootings. And for that, it's very unfortunate. I hate to see these mass shootings happen, alright? I agree, they are pretty fucked up. And anytime I hear about one happening and it involves a bunch of children getting killed, believe me, that pisses me off pretty badly. You don't know how badly that gets my blood boiling. That's how badly it pisses me off. Put this out there. If I were to hear about my stepsister, who's 12 years old and is a 6th grader in middle school, were to get killed by a mass shooting like that, or if the same thing were to happen with any of my nieces, my nephews, or anybody else on either side of my family that's still kids, I'd be pretty pissed off too. I'd be pretty upset about the situation. Not only that, but to everybody out there that's trying to use tragedies like these as reasons to try and get rid of certain guns like the AR-15, let me tell you something right now. There are several killings that go on in big cities like Chicago or Baltimore or Detroit, St. Louis, any other major city out there that deals with pretty bad crime rates where people are killing people with different guns all the time. Yeah, I don't hear people talking about that nonstop. Not only that, but there's more kids that die every year from child abuse or car accidents or being locked up in hot cars in the summertime, which I actually did a video talking about that and telling parents not to do that to their kids. There are people outraged over any of that. Like, seriously. But if you think getting rid of the AR-15 or any gun similar to the AR-15 is going to do shit, I highly doubt that's going to stop all mass shootings. You know why? Because mass shooters are going to find a different weapon to use, whether it be a pistol, a shotgun, sniper rifle, frickin' flamethrower, you name it. I'm sorry to anybody out there that's going to be bothered by me saying that, but you know what? That's the truth. And to those out there that are going to be like, well, there's a lot of countries out there that have these rules in effect or those rules in effect about guns, and, they don't get any mass shootings or any of that, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I don't give a fuck about what happens in other countries. If it doesn't affect me personally, I really don't care. And to anybody out there that's going to try and pull the argument of whether or not somebody with an AR-15 stands a chance against the military, that is not at all what we think. Like, obviously, yeah, of course we don't stand a chance against the military. We're not stupid. Like, come on now. With all that out of the way, I will say this right now. To everybody out there that keeps sitting there saying things like, oh, well, thoughts and prayers aren't going to do shit, they aren't going to mean shit to dead kids and all that, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm sorry, but sitting there politicizing these tragedies or weaponizing them, and then sitting there telling people that Biden still stands by his gun reform or his gun control bullshit that he's talking about nonstop, that ain't going to bring these kids back either. A lot of that don't mean shit to them as well. So think about that. And again, this isn't me trying to politicize the tragedy and sit there and blame certain people out there or blame the president or do all this crap. Acting like this is going to bring back the children or take back what happened and all that. Again, I hate politicizing these tragedies. But I heard what I heard, and I saw what the hell I saw. If you saw something differently, well, good for you. If you believe differently, good for you as well. You know what? This is America. You believe what you want to believe. I will say that right now. Again, I am in no way, shape, or form trying to make this about Trump versus Biden, this versus that, Democrat versus Republican, or any of that nonsense out there that people like to talk about nonstop. So with all that being said, I said this in the previous video, and I will say this again. My heart goes out to the 3 children and the 3 staff members that lost their life in that shooting in Nashville. No child should ever have to lose their life like that. Same thing with staff members as well. That right there is pretty tragic. I couldn't imagine sending my kid to school and then, not realizing that would be the last time I ever see them. That's got to be really tough on each and every family member that has had to go through that. It's pretty tough, and, my heart aches for those people big time. This right here is something I would never wish to happen to anybody, even my worst enemy. I wouldn't want anybody to ever have to go through anything like this, because it's pretty messed up. But like I said, I think instead of politicizing these tragedies and sitting there debating which side we should be on, I think we should all come together and actually work together to try and stop these shootings from happening. Because the weaponizing, the politicizing, and all that crap, that's not going to do shit. Neither is judging people. I'm just saying. Y'all take care now.